Traders, what's up? I'm back. Let's roll the intro. Alright guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are having a good weekend. It's been about 2 weeks, right? It's been a little bit. We had a couple of things happen in the community and with us over here at the MotiveFX over the past 2 weeks that kind of got us tied up a bit, but they were really awesome situations, right? So we did have a top trader seminar. Here's a little footage of that event. That went really well here in ATL, and we actually did go to New York. We had a top trader New York event. It was really awesome, just somewhat of a networking event with some of the other guys in New York and New Jersey. I brought out Rob, the head guy at the firm that I'm partnered with over at Loma. I mean, he's an awesome guy. He's managing under 10 million under assets. Got some of the people in the community got a chance to meet him and whatnot and talk shop about markets. Bitcoin was was a very hefty subject matter. Bitcoin, I think, was at 17,500. Freaking collapsed to 5,000. Now it hit 8,000, right? So crazy. But other than that, folks, that's what's been going on. So went up to New York, was up there for a couple of days. Now we're back down here to the ATL, ready to crank out on this Sunday market breakdown. So last week we were pretty active in the community. We called out 10 positions. So if you're in the community, I did a play-by-play on that on Friday, but we're going to be discussing some of those here today. Exclusively the Euro short, that was the one position. I mean, the Euro long, that was the one position that I was in last week, and we did have a couple of intraday signals called out by Jesus, some that actually turned out to be swings that lasted for quite a bit. And here's the play-by-play for Euro long. We had a trade idea posted on Monday, and every day we'll do a follow-up or an update of how those positions are doing. Here, roll the tape. Here it is. First, I want to look at this Euro U, and since I'm expecting some U.S. weakness, short-term U.S. weakness, to the upside, some resistance, right? And so looking at these, this little area here, looking at this zone here, that is what we're fighting at the moment. And, you know, obviously that is the reason why markets have stiffened here at this 1650 level. But I would like to see markets break outside of that level and potentially head back up into the 1760s. 17 mids. So that position absolutely exploded, right? So we ran to the 18 flats in probably just 8 hours after the trade was called out or after the actual trade was initiated, right? So we ran right up to 18 flat, actually ended up pushing a little bit higher up into the 1850s, but our target was right there at 18 flat. Entry was at 1670. Again, here's that screenshot. All right, so folks, man, we were looking for a little bit of U.S. weakness this week. Okay, so if I pull over and show you the dollar index, here you go. Dollar index kind of hammered down a bit, right? We ended up breaking a pretty tight 4-hour structural formation that was forming last week. All right, I was expecting CPI to come out a little bit in the red, which ended up happening. And what I didn't expect was unemployment claims to edge up a bit, and that's what happened. So that's why you saw some U.S. weakness pull out. Now, what's interesting is we did have not really a trade idea, but Aussie dollar did initiate a short, and it was something that was feasible, but man, Aussie ended up selling massively. Here's a quick, I want to roll the tape real quick, of us assuming that Aussie would have that continuation, but we never really caught an entry. I was hoping that we might have markets pull back up a bit, but as soon as markets broke this structural formation right here on the 4-hour, it just really started running, all right? So let's roll the tape on that Aussie dollar short. Yeah, so we're sitting right now at that 38.2% retracement level. This could run to the 50% retracement level, and then boom, you know. So potential Aussie shorting opportunity. Somewhat the move has already somewhat happened. So you want to be careful, and obviously this could be where you play U.S. strength if you want to play that. Right now we're sitting at the 61.8. So market's still hovering around that 61.8. Break of that 61.8 will definitely lead you down to that 75 flat, which is at 78.6. So if you guys look at the monthly formation on this Aussie, here's a screenshot. We are really just hammering back down into a very large support level that was previous resistance, right? But we were assuming in the community that markets could kind of hammer down into this zone right here that we picture. We usually draw these things up in these gray zones, and we're really pushing there. So maybe we could see a correction back up into structure, especially if the U.S. dollar doesn't hit off on any kind of target. I know we were expecting 38.2 on the dollar index, but time's ticking. We're in week 3, November. We got about what, 5 weeks left, 6 weeks left if you include this one. We need some things to shake. Okay, so we do have an interest rate hike coming in December. What's that? December 14th. Maybe that adds some U.S. strength in. But if not, folks, we might not hit off on the 38.2 target. We broke to 23.6, which was expected, but we might not head all the way back up into that 38.2. So folks, let's go over to the charts. I want to see what we're looking at structurally. You're going to be doing it with me. This is going to be the first time I'm looking this weekend. I had some eyes on it on Friday because we did a little webinar on Friday, but I haven't really seen how things closed, and we can see if structure are going to add up. I do like that Euro-U for potential pullback. I mean, the thing went parabolic, and we haven't really broke outside of the 1750. So let's keep an eye on that. Go ahead and like the video for your boy. And of course, I actually do want to know the trades that you're looking out for, right? So if you guys have any positions that you want to play this week, what are they? Let's talk about them in the comment section below. What's the big position, or, you know, the more probable position that you're looking for in the markets? I think that's something that will help you, and I can maybe give you some feedback on what I think about it as well. All right, so guys, like the video for your boy. Let's pull over into the charts and let's see what we get. And let's stay consistent. I'm back. Let's kill it. All right, let's go to the charts.
All right, traders, let's pull over into these charts. This Euro-U has just resurged back up into that previous structure. If I pull back a bit, show you guys where we're at. As you guys can see, we were looking at markets to hammer down a bit, right? We wanted markets to break outside of 23.6. This is a daily, now, and that was a few weeks ago that we wanted that, but we had markets, again, pull back up and consolidate right there underneath that 23.6, and then that's what gave us the idea that, hey, markets might actually push back up into this structure here before we can really break out of this 16 flat, and that was the buy side opportunity that we took last week. And so since then, as you guys can see, after that buy side push on it ended up closing out this candle here on Tuesday. Notice here, I mean, we really haven't moved anywhere. So we did hammer down a bit, down outside of this 1760 number, and I'm thinking that the same thing can happen. I would like to see markets go short and, you know, kind of maybe fill this gap here. But Draghi is speaking in the next hour at 9 o'clock. And again, that could, I mean, anything that he says could have markets go either way, whether he's bullish or bearish. Bullish, we're going to break outside of this 18 flat and probably push back up into the 19 flats, which is amazing. And bearish, obviously, will hammer down into the out of the 17 flat number down into the 1780s, and we'll really run down to these 17 flats, 16 highs. So currently, again, intraday wise, we're over in Top Trader Live. We're going to be calling them out over there. If you're not in the community, then you would need to get over there to see exactly what we're going to do today. But swing wise, again, I need a new structure formation. I need markets to kind of shake after this 9 o'clock, and then we'll see where we're at. Again, I would like to see the US dollar gain some strength before this year is out, right? If I pull over and show you guys this dollar index, as I mentioned, that 38.2 is the target. That was the target that we had all this year, right? Way before we were even in this area. I mean, before we even got to that 23.6, when we tested the 23.6, we made money. And then when we broke out of the 23.6, we were making money. But now we need markets to hammer back up inside that 23.6. Look how markets spilled. I mean, massive spill back down underneath that structure. That's not good. We need this dollar to start pushing higher here. And for us now to clear to 38 to that 38.2, I mean, we need to break outside of this 94. And so there's just a lot of downside here that kind of freaks me out a bit. So hopefully we won't get too much US weakness, but if we do, then you're definitely going to see that reflect over here in that Euro-U, okay? And that's why we would potentially be able to take a breakout of this high back up into these structures. But what will be better, right, than the breakout? I would love to see markets pull back a bit, and then we would take the pullback up into the structure. I would just hate getting in at the 18 flat, knowing last week if I want to swing it out, then we should have stayed in the position, right? Because we were down here executing at the 17 flats, right? So let's see what happens. Would love to see the pullback and then the push higher here. Hopefully Draghi can, the volatility can make that shake. So pulling over to the Aussie, I actually do like the Aussie more than a few things, just because we're sitting right down here at this structure, and if this thing really wants to consolidate down here at this low, then I think that makes a lot of sense. I think that makes a lot of sense, because if you look at this, I mean, this was that massive structural level I was talking about. Oh, we're there, like we're all the way in, and so now we just need this week to kind of just consolidate, maybe another week of consolidation, and then, man, it would be nice to catch a pull back up into these structures here. But obviously, if that happens after the fact, or if U.S. strength preludes before we can get markets to really, you know, consolidate down here at this low, then we're definitely going to be just kind of ripping and kind of hammering back down into the 74s, and who knows? I mean, we might even get to the 73, 72s, all the way back down at these April lows, 2017 lows. We'll have the full retracement there, which is interesting, right? This was probably one of the first pairs that fully retrace if we come down into the 72s that fully retraced that US dollar weakness that came in, right? So that's interesting. So folks, let's see what we get on the Aussie. Would love to see markets consolidate right here at 75.50s, and then see that push back up into structure. If we see a continuation of this break here, then man, you're really just kind of going to miss the move, right? I mean, again, this is where you wanted to get in if you were playing the breakout. Nice little area tight consolidation. You get the breakout, boom. Well, I think those guys are still going to be holding their positions, and I don't think there's going to be too much capital being taken out of the market to the sell side until we get some new data coming out. So hopefully we can get markets to consolidate here. We're seeing some whipsawing at the moment down here at this level. That's a good sign. Maybe by the end of the week we'll get some break back up into structure. So that's what I'm looking for in the Aussie. So I'm going to show you guys this Canadian dollar real quick because we're looking for a couple of things to happen. Now, last month was a massive month. That's when we were looking for that U.S. strength, and it really showed itself over here on this U.S. CAD. But if I pull up the fib and only draw from the low to the high, ignoring this massive wick, what you guys will see is we've already eaten right around 50% of those gains from last month, right? So if you guys notice, here's the low of the month there, here's the high. Well, look, we've already pulled back to the 50% retracement level, and now we're edging outside, right? So again, 50% pullback from last month's gains. Are we going to see a continuation, right? That's what we're looking for. And this would be the case of U.S. Strength, right? So we would need a break right here at this 28 flat. And if you get a break at 28 flat, then you would really hope to see a continuation and honestly a break out of this structure there. Because if you don't get the break out of that structure, then your risk reward really isn't there, because you would have wanted to catch this pullback down here at this 50% retracement level, okay, right around this area of consolidation. Now that you're getting the pullback up in the structure, you would have been looking pretty good. Stops would have probably been in a profit by now, and you would have definitely hit off on the risk-reward ratio. You would have been over a 1-to-1 by now. But since markets are already up here at these highs, what that means is basically if you're entering here at the high, then where are your stops going to go, right? Your stops may have to go all the way down here at this structural low. So if your stops are 160 pips away, then look at this, right? So you would need markets to break outside of this high here, because this is only 104 pips. You would need markets to hammer all the way up into the 29 mids. Okay, basically close to really get a true 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio. You would definitely need markets hit off on the $30s. So again, playing it as a swing probably isn't the best idea if you want to have a logical stock placement. So that's why hopefully we could see a potential pullback. And if we see that pullback based off of just maybe some short-term U.S. weakness, then maybe that can get markets to settle again, and we can get a continuation on this U.S. CAD. So right now, markets are hanging on this trend line here, which is what we were looking at. And if we get a break of the CTL, then that would give causation for sure to maybe start shorting this market back down into this structural low, and then maybe we can get markets to run even down to the $1.25 mids, so $1.2550 there. Okay, so that's something I am looking for. If you get a break right here at the 28 flat, then you can maybe put something on small, or maybe just take it as a quick intraday move, and then you would really want to get the hell out of it, because again, if your stops, where are you going to put your stops if you're swinging outside of this level there? Maybe here, but volatility could easily whip you out, and being whipsawed is like one of the biggest issues when you're trading in these markets. So quick breakout to the upside on the intraday level, that'd be awesome. Or you could play a swing if you get a CTO break there. Could play the swing down into this structural low, and then hopefully maybe you even get a larger pullback, and then you can just keep riding that wave. So that's what we're looking like on the US CAD. I want to draw up the fib for you guys real quick just to show you what we're looking like from the low to the high. Again, boom, where we're looking at, hanging right there on that 23.6. Again, if this market wants to keep running after a pullback on that 23.6, that's a very, very fast market. Usually they got to come down to that 38.2, to that 50% retracement level. Okay, that's why we like to play those 23.6 breaks. All right, so that's what we're looking for. Let's see what happens over there on the US CAD. I want to go over the GBP USD because Jesus was calling out GBP USD all week last week long, and that worked out pretty well. As you guys can see, currently this is what we were looking at, right? So we're looking at markets to maintain this low, and we were looking for markets to continue to push higher here, and that's exactly what we're seeing. So as you can see, there's a lot of turbulence happening based off of this structural formation. We would need the markets to break out of that level. So currently right now, I have no entry over here on this GBPU. Markets are kind of just going to be running around, and then hopefully you'll get some structural formation later this week, later today, that can give you an entry. So that's really about it, folks. I can keep running around here, maybe looking for some different opportunity. Euro and ZD, that's something that we've been playing recently. Euro JPY. Nothing really over there. Still consolidated up in these levels. We were looking for a breakout lower here on this Euro JPY. That's something that we're going to stay attentive to. So obviously you guys can do the same thing. GBP JPY as well. Same thing, right? Look how these JPYs are somewhat consolidated a bit. They're pretty ugly, right? So let's look at one more. Let's look at the GBP AUD. That one's been pushing to the upside recently. As you, man, massive push to the upside, breakout of this 23.6 on this larger monthly. So this thing has a lot of room to run. I mean, look at that. I know Kyler, me and Kyler were talking about this thing probably about 2-3 months ago. Like, hey, do you think this thing has has an upside potential? Because if so, you could really ride it out. Here's the monthly on it. Okay, so if that pound wants to continue having that strength, you'll definitely see this GBP AUD to the upside. So hopefully we get a little bit of consolidation before we get markets to run higher. Because if we get a little consolidation up here at the highs, then maybe we can start taking breakouts on the intraday perspective up into that structure. Okay, so guys, that's pretty much it. If you want to, I want to know what you guys are looking at. So many different pairs everywhere. If you guys contribute a little bit, maybe we can all hammer out some potential targets and stops and entries, and then everyone can just kind of go scroll through the comment section and see what's going on. All right, so guys, your profit, always my motive. Please like the video. I really appreciate it, and I'll talk to you guys real soon. Peace.